So today's weekly Jinx video, and for those that don't know, every Wednesday we do a Jinx video, whether it's about the lore, the meta, how she's doing in the meta, a certain matchup, a certain build, theory crafting things that might not even be like the best route to go. But still, that's the point. It's anything to do with Jinx, and it's decided by you commenting in the comment section down below about what you want to see me talk about for next week's video. And it was requested that I kind of talk about supports when it comes to playing Jinx. What supports do you want to play Jinx with? What do you look for in a support when you're playing Jinx? Do you not play Jinx if you don't get one of these supports? And the way I will make this video is what I'll try and do is go over why any kind of support could be viable, and then I'll just kind of also throw in the supports that I kind of like playing with the best. But just a kind of disclaimer when I say that my opinion isn't necessarily the opinion. Like, I'm not the best Jinx knowledge person when it comes to like what supports you should and should not play with. But I was just doing this to get the conversation started, so then you can be like, oh hey, I actually agree with this, or hey, I think you should have mentioned this champion, because that would have actually been a good idea to mention them instead. So I'll start with, for me personally, I kind of don't mind a person playing whatever they kind of want to play support, as long as they actually then play support. And I literally mean that I will play with a Kassadin support as long as he's playing Kassadin support. He's there to support me, help me get the lane rolling. And if he gets a kill or two or something, that's fine. But I mean, ultimately, his goal is to play Kassadin like you would play a support and support me in the lane. As long as you do that, I will literally play with you on whatever champion you want. Because especially with autofill existing, I kind of feel like, yo, if you're getting autofill to support but you're not dodging and you still want to actually win the game or something, but all you've got is like Veigar support, then I'm just going to try and find a way as a player myself to just make Veigar support work instead of be like, well, I guess this game is whatever. You know what I mean? Because for me, LP is on the line if we're talking rank, so I'm not just going to give up the game in champ select right off the bat. I'm going to at least try and see what we can do. Because I've been surprised by some things. So I say this because I've been surprised. I once played with a Lee Sin support, and I had my doubts, but it was mainly because I felt like that was a support pick. It was a jungler that got autofilled to support. They had Lee Sin, and they made the promise that they were going to try and play support, but they couldn't make guarantees, right? And I get that, right? You don't really see Lee Sin support for a reason. But once we hit level 6, the plan literally was, hey, throw the Flame Chompers, and I will make sure I insect, the enemy AD carry into the Flame Chompers, and we will win this lane. Sure enough, we hit 6. I could just throw the Flame Chompers out. He would always have a ward, because he actually bought Sightstone and everything. He'd make the insect kick like the enemy Caitlyn into my Flame Chompers, and I literally got 3 kills off of that alone. Now, I'm not saying this to say traditional supports, or there aren't better supports to play with Jinx for sure. I'm just saying this as, I think some of it might depend on the mindset and the support player, because a lot of times a matchup can be dictated by how well the support player is going to do. If they're going to play support well, if they even are a support player, and things like that. If they're not a support player, but they do want to win, then maybe that means they have to pick something for comfort, and you might have to adapt to that. And my thing, I guess I'm saying is, be willing to adapt sometimes. But let's get into some actual support champions I do like playing with, that people do actually like playing with when they play Jinx. My first and foremost is probably going to be, to no surprise, Janna. I think Janna is literally, she's my favorite support to play if I get autofilled to support. I feel like she does just some of everything and rather well. Her passive literally gives you more movement speed just by being near her. She has a shield, she has a slow, she has a tornado to knock people away. She has the ultimate, which gives you a lot of heal and zoning control, and then thanks to Redemption, it just adds on top of that with Ardent Sensor. I just really like that champion, actually, as a support, and I like playing with that champion, to the point my last ranked game, they thought we were duoing. We both had the Star Guardian skins, of course, but Janna just did all of that stuff for me, so then I just played super aggressive, and then we were able to actually beat the bottom lane pretty handedly. Now granted, I also think we just had the advantage in Champ Select. I played Jinx and Xayah, who I think is actually one of the best champions to play in Xayah, because you have the range and stuff. But on top of that, this Janna just kind of kept me safe. We kind of kept things going, and it was actually a pretty solid game in my opinion. I could have did some things better, of course, but in general, I think that's a pretty good champion to play with. What you'll generally hear if you don't go champion specific is you want to have a lot of peel. You want to have something like a Lulu, Karma, even Orianna support to an extent, because she'll protect you. But things that will give you peel and protection, that's the kind of things you want to play as with Jinx. So A, if you can play the lane aggressive, then you definitely can get away with it, because you'll have the peel support or the heals if it's like a Soraka or something. But B, if it's a really heavy harass lane and you really just are having a hard time staying afloat, those kind of champions should help you stay alive and be able to at least CS. So you'll come out of laning phase even in the sense of you didn't die, even though you didn't really get any kills, but you're even in CS, so you can work from the mid game from there. This is where people tend to differ in opinions from me. I actually like the hard engage supports. I like the Leonas, the Blitzcranks, the Threshes, the Brahms. It's not that people just generally hate those matchups or with Jinx as a support. It's that, for example, some people don't like Blitzcrank with Jinx because if you're going against the wrong kind of, enemy support, you just hooked a Leona to you. The Leona now jumps you as Jinx and then helps kill you. For me, I'm more like challenge accepted. Like, let me worry about my positioning and things. As long as you can land those hooks, we'll then act accordingly. Because I like with a Braum who puts on his Q passive, and then because Jinx has an extra DPS in her kit with the minigun, we quickly stun somebody, and like, even if we don't kill them, half health them, they have to back off now, and this lane is a little bit more open for us to take advantage of. I'm okay with all those kind of things, and some people aren't. They don't like playing with a Braum for that exact reason. It's like, well, he's kind of more, he wants to land the thing and get some stuns and things like that. I'm like, hey, the first game I ever got a pentakill with was because I was playing with literally a godlike Braum player who was like, Mastery 7 didn't exist at the time, but if it did, I'm pretty sure this dude would have been a level 7 Braum. It was actually pretty... On top of that, Brahms, I've never played with a toxic Braum literally ever. The closest I've ever come with is when Braum is ever free to play, and I'm just playing with somebody who got autofilled to support, picked Braum because he was there, and then it was a bad game. That's the closest, but I've never actually really played with like a mean Braum before, so I'm a little bit biased that way too. But I mean, Thresh, Blitzcrank, those are all what they consider kill lanes with the Jinx, so it's not that they're taboo with Jinx, it's that most likely people will probably say they want a more appealing support first, before a hard engage support. But for me, I play with anything, as long as you're actually willing to support me in lane, and as long as the end goal for you in your mind, you want to see that victory screen like I want to see, fine. Honestly, fine. That's not the best answer to give. I should be giving more like strategic answers or things people are looking for, like why Blitzcrank? Well, the hook combo. He hooks somebody, uppercuts them while you throw the flame choppers, and then you just burst them down. Even if you don't kill them, you take like 75% of their health. Same thing kind of with Thresh in that sense, or Leona in that sense. With appealing supports, they keep you safe. They can protect you in lane. They can protect you from ganks and stuff pretty easily, or more better than even a hard engage support could. Not that they can't, but like a Janna will probably protect you a lot better than a Blitzcrank can if you're too far forward when a Lee Sin comes down. Things like that, and that's kind of why people don't like the off-meta supports per se as well. It's like, hey, well, look, Lee Sin probably can't peel that well for me against, a ganking Vi. It's not that Lee Sin can't even synergize with Jinx at all, but that's part of what it means to be playing the support champion down there. What do you want down there? Something that can protect me if we were up too far because maybe we were winning lane, and here comes the enemy jungler and the mid laner. We could get out if maybe we had some shields or speeds ups, but we don't. We have a Kassadin, so it's rest in peace. So again, not the greatest of answers, but that's the point of these videos. I'm just giving these to kind of get the conversation started, and this is the part of the video where now you can interject your own opinion. Either why you think I was wrong about some things, maybe why you think I was right about some things but I didn't elaborate enough and you would wish to elaborate on that, or even some of your own opinions on different types of champions that you like playing with when it comes to playing Jinx. What kind of champions do you like supporting you? Because maybe you're kind of in the same boat with, not necessarily like Kassadin. I was using Kassadin as a kind of example, but just in period. Maybe you're like, I actually like playing Jinx with a Lucian support, because if the Lucian does this, we can actually bully the lane and also outrange them. We can auto space them, and then if we can't, Lucian's a close range kind of peeling support, because he'll peel with damage with his dueling abilities or something. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't walked in every Jinx player's shoes to know what really is ultimately the best, because I think at the end of the day, the biggest point is that I think it comes down to your playstyle and how do you like to play Jinx. If you're someone that likes playing Jinx aggressively, you might not like, Soraka as a support champion, because you might like something that can be a bit more aggressive with you. Granted, Soraka can still help you in an aggressive situation because you can go aggro and she can heal you back up if you take bad trades while you're going aggro. Still, the point is, maybe you actually value the Braum, Leona, and Thresh and things like that over the peeling supports because you actually value those for the way you like to play Jinx better. Or maybe you're more of a passive player. And it's not that you're like a bad player, but you're just like, hey, I picked a late game champion. I'm really not trying to body the lane. I'm just trying to pick something that can scale into the late game, and then I'll work on winning you the game in the late game. So, hey, I want something that will just keep me alive right now. We don't have to win the lane. We just got to make sure we have like even CS. That's all I'm trying to do right now. So I want the Janna. I want the Lulu. I want the Karma. I want the Nami. Or whatever the heck, goes that, what you call it. Consider that. Or maybe you want something a bit off pick, because I guess the last point I want to plug in real quick, the best supports to play with are pre-mates. just play with something pre-made, and then no matter how wacky it is, it'll probably work a lot better than with a complete stranger, unless they're like a level 7 master on that champion. But anyway, feel free to add your own opinion, like, comment, and subscribe. Specifically comment with your own opinions on the matter and what you want to see me talk about for next week's Jinx video. But that's all for this video, so thank you for watching this far. I don't know which video will be next, because that would be quite a mess. So until next time, take care, from the Fragile Die FS.